Hey, Ernie.
Hi, Harold. Elliot just left my house.
Oh, he was there. Okay, good, good.
Okay, we're on Ayin Ches 78. We started the blot where it's about, 10 lines from the top, Lebeis Shammai. Because we said that Roshei Hamatois, that pasuk comes to tell you that if a person designated an animal to be Hegdish, you can go to a Chacham and ask that to be removed as well. Now, the Beis Shammai Domer ain't Sheila behegdish. Beis Shammai disagrees. It says once you declare an animal to be hegdish, it's still hegdish. You cannot undo it. So what does he do with the pasuk Roshei Amatos Tichsiv B'Shchutei Chutz L'Mayil Chasa? So Beis Shammai less will Gzer Shava. Beis Shammai doesn't learn the Gzer Shava from Shchutei Chutz to Nedarim. So there's no limud. So Zeh Davar b'Parshas Nedarim l'Maiksiv. If it's not needed for Gzer Shava, what does Beis Shammai do with the Zeh Davar that appears in the Parsha of Nedarim? Loimar, to teach me Chacham Matir, ve'ein Baal Matir, Baal Mefer ve'ein Chacham Mefer. That each segment has its own thing. Chachamim undo through Hatorah. Hatorah's Nedarim. They don't annul it. They need to find a Pesach and they have to do Hatorah of the Neder. A Baal, a husband, does not do Hatorah. He annuls. He says it's no longer there. And only a Baal is Mefer and Chacham Mefer. And therefore, Ze'adavar, since it's not used b'Gzer Shava, Ze'adavar b'Shchutei Chutz L'Maiksi. Loimar, ala Shchita Chayiv, ve'en Chayiv ala Malika. That Shchita's Chutz, shechting a korban outside of the Azara, is also, only Shchita is also. Malika, which is the process by which the Kohen killed a bird with his fingernail, the back of his neck. So if you do Malika b'chutz, there's no malchus for that. So we learned that 3 regular people can sit and be matir and neder like we do Erev Rosh Hashanah. 3 regular people, they're not rabbanim, do Hatoras Nedarim for each other. So that was learned through the Gzeira Shava, Ze'adavar, from Shchutei Chutz to Roshei Amatos by Nedarim. So Beis Shammai, who doesn't learn the Gzeira Shava, where does he learn that 3 regular people can do Hataras Nedarim? Gemara answers, Nafkul miravasi bar Nos. Ichsi, Vaydaber Moshe modeh Hashem b'nei Yisrael. It says, Vaydaber Moshe modeh b'nei Yisrael, Vatanya, and then it says, Rabbi Yosef Glilin Oimer, Moyadei Nemru, the Loy Nemru Shabbos Bereishis Yimoim. The Moyadei there refers to the Chagim, but not Shabbos. Benazai Oimer Moyadei Nemru, Loy Nemru Parshas Nedarim Yimoim. That it referred to the holidays, but it doesn't deal with the Nedarim. Now the question is, what does this all mean? Ravasi Barnasan Kashalei Hamasnisa. He didn't understand his brayso. Also, Nardola Kamed Rav Sheshas. They went to Rav Sheshas. V'loashkachei, they didn't find Rav Sheshas there. Also, Basrei Mechuza. They found him in Mechuza. And he explained, Amar like, Moyade Hashem Nemru, V'loy Nemru Shabbos Bereishis Yimoen. How can you say in the Parshas Emor that the Moadei Hashem are not referring to Shabbos Bereishis? There was a whole parsha there that says Shabbos Shabbosai. V'aksiv Shabbos Yimoen. That's one question. The Su, it says Moadei Hashem Nemru V'lo Nemru Parshas Nedarim Yimoen V'amisitra Ksiva. immediately after the Parshas of the Moados, there is a discussion about the Nedor. Amalei Hachi Ktani. Ayin Ches Omid Beis. Moyadi Hashem Tzrichin Kiddush Bezdin. That when Pesach, Tesvav Nisan occurs, or when Sukkot, Tesvav Sukkot occurs, Tesvav Tishrei, Sukkot occurs, Beis Din determines this through Kiddush HaChodesh. Shabbos Breishis ain't Tzricha Kiddush Bezdin. Shabbos has been set into motion since the creation. Every 7 days is Shabbos. And Beis Din does not get involved in establishing when Shabbos is. What else? Moyade Hashem Tzrichin Mumche. Establishing when Kiddush HaChodesh is going to be requires Beis Din, experts, but in contradistinction, Ein Parshas Nedarim Tzrichin Mumche. Undoing the Dorim through Hataras Nedarim does not require experts. Afilu Beis Din Edyotis. As long as you have 3 people, even if they're not experts, so that's where Beis Shammai learns that 3 non-experts can serve as the Beis Din for Hataras Nedarim. It does talk about Rosh Hamatos, which refers to a Rav, leader of a community. Yeah, if a Rav or an expert, he can adjudicate Nedarim as a single person without a Beis Din. That's what Rosh Hamatos teaches. On Rav Chanina, Hashoisek Amanas Lameket. A husband is silent when his wife makes a neder because he wants her to suffer. Let's say she said, I'm not going to take a bath. And it's comfortable not to do that. In his heart, he annulled it. But with his words, he tortured her a little bit by not revealing what he had in his heart. The din is, Rav Chanina says, a husband has, if he follows that scenario, Walter, we're on Ayin Ches Omud Beis, near the bottom, on Rav Chanina. If he's silent because he's torturing his wife, even though in his heart, he annulled the neder, he has 10 days to verbally annul it. So we're going to ask a number of kashas on this. Mosiv Rava. Masai Omru Mesa Baal. When did we say that if the husband died, the father now acquires 100% of the power to annul the neder? Bisman Shaloi Shama Baal. That's where the Baal didn't hear the neder at all. Or Sheshama V'Shosak. He was silent, which implies that he was Mekayim the neder. O Sheshama V'Hefer Umeisbo Bayom. He heard, annulled it, and died. Aval Shama V'Kiyeh. But if the husband had heard it and was Mekayim the neder, O Sheshama V'Shosak Umeis Bayom Shalachram. He was silent and then he died the next day, so 24 hours went by without him saying anything, which basically implies a kiyum, ein yachol lahafer. He doesn't have the ability to annul anymore. So, and my love v'shoysak make it, and we're talking about being silent even while he's torturing her, and yet he doesn't have 10 days. If he can't be made for anymore. So the Gemara says, "Lo b'shoysak amanas l'kayim." In that case, the Baraisa is talking about he was silent because he intended to be mekayim it. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, how is it different from the example you gave of Shava V'Kiyim? Ela b'shoysik stam. He didn't have any kavanah. And therefore, we don't have a proof against Rav Chanina. But the Gemara is going to make another attack on the sheet of Rav Chanina. That if you're shoysek, Amanas make it, you could make for up until 10 days. It says, Choymer b'hakeim mibehefer, uvehefer mibehakeim. There are stringencies of a kiyum of a neder, more than an annulment. And there's stringencies of an annulment more than a kiyum. Choymer behekem. Now we're going to learn ayin tes amud aleph. Shashtika mekayemes vein shtika mevatelas. Being silent after a husband hears a neder.
You don't want to stop and start again, or?
But I don't have. I'm not.
Oh, you don't have the thing to. Okay,
No,
fine.
we'll tell Mario that he'll
Okay.
list it as both.
Okay.
So if you're silent, that's an act of kiyum. The ain shasika mevatelas, but being silent cannot annul a neder. So that's chumrah of shasika by kiyum. Kiyum belibo. If he was makayim in his heart, kiyum. Hefer belibo ain't a mufar. If you in your heart annul a neder, it doesn't work. You got to speak it out. Kiyum ein yochel hafer. If a husband was makayim his wife's neder, you can't annul it anymore. Hefer, if he annuls it, then it goes away, and then ein yochel makayim. Now, Tani, this brisa, we learned, shasasika mekayemes, that being silent is a kiyum. Now, isn't my lav v'shozik amnas make it, which Rav Chanina said you could have the power to annul it up until 10 days. How could you tell me shasika is mekayim? The Gemara says shasika mekayim, referring to v'shozik amnas l'kayim. Well, says the Gemara, hainu kiyim belibo kayim. How is that different from kayim belibo? Elo b'shozik stam. And we don't know what his intent was. So again, no kasha, no final kasha on Rav Chanina. Ashkechan choymer behekem behefer. You showed me where it was more stringent to do kiyum than annulment. Where is the stringency behekem behefer behekem annulment? On Rav Yochanan, nishalin ala hekem. If a Baal was makayim his wife's neder, you can go to a chacham and you matir. However, eini shalon ala hefer. If a husband annulled his wife's neder, that's it. It's a null. You can't have second thoughts and go to a chacham and ask a shaila that I want my annulment to go away. Mosif Rav Kahana. V'im acharesh yacharish lo isha. If the wife is silent, if the husband is silent, the Torah is referring to a case where in his heart he was made for it, but he didn't say it verbally because he wanted to torture his wife to make her think that it's still in place. Maybe the hacharesh yacharish law refers to a silence to be makayim the neder. So, and for the Gemara kishu oimer ki hechrish law, harei b'shosak amnas l'kayim hakosu b'daber. That the pasuk is already talking about that. Hamani makayim im hacharesh yacharish law isha. That must be b'shosak amnas l'mekin hakosu b'daber. And even so, even though he's doing it amnas l'mekin, it's a kiyum, and you can't be made for it anymore. Tiyufta. So that's a kasha Rav Chanina who said you have for 10 days to do it. Okay. Freit the Gemara v'lukim ha. Why didn't here the Gemara answered like we did before with b'shoisik amnas l'kayim, but ha b'shoisik stam. There they gave a reason that it isn't just shoisik amanas l'kaim, it could be just being silent. So the Gemara says he can't answer that way because Kro Yisirik, there's an extra pasuk. What do you do with the extra pasuk? With the extra pasuk, you have to learn it that he was shoisik to be Makayim the neder. Mosif Rava. Rava asks another kasha Rav Chanina. Nadrim Chashecha, the wife made a neder as nightfall was coming. Mefer lo ad shelo chashecha. The husband can annul the neder before Shkia. She'im lo hefer v'chashka eno yochel afer. If the neder stands and then Shkia occurs, he's silent. He cannot annul anymore. What about the din of Rav Chanina? Amai levi kishozik amnas make it and get another 10 days to yufta. It's a kasha Rav Chanina. Ask a third kasha on Rav Chanina. Maser Rav Ashi. Yoidea ani sheyesh nedarim aval eni yodeh sheyesh mefirim. A husband says, "Listen, I know what a neder is, but I didn't know that the husband has the right to annul it. So even if it's a long time after, yofer, he can annul it. If he says yodeh ani sheyesh mefirim, I know that the husband has the power to annul. Aval any yodesh is another, but I didn't know what she said was a neder. So here's already a machlokes. Rab Meir Omer lo yofer. The Chachamim yofer. Now here as well, v'amai levi kishazak amnas l'meiked, let it not be any worse than a bal being shoysek amanas l'meiked, like we said, to torture her. And Rav Chanina said, you have 10 days. Here, you don't have any time anymore. Again, tiyufta and Rav Chanina, tiyufta. Hadalach nara marasa, hadalach nara marasa, hadalach nara marasa. New parent. Eilu nedarim. Veilu nedarim shumefer. What kind of nedarim can a husband annul? Dvarim sheish ben inui nafesh. Things that are difficult physically. Let's say she makes neder not to have relations. Or the Mishnah explains, im erchatz, im lo erchatz. She takes a neder where she may end up not washing herself, which would have inu nefesh. Or she says, im es kashes, im lo es kashes. I'm going to put on cosmetics or not put on cosmetics. These are all things that have to do with inu nefesh. Those are not inu nefesh. The elu nidre inu nefesh. I'll give you examples of nedarim that are inu nefesh. Amra koinen perisa oilam alai. I'm not going to eat fruit of the ground. So that's considered inu nefesh. And the husband can annul that. However, if she says, Peros Medina zu alai, I'm not going to eat California fruits, but she can eat Florida fruits. So he doesn't have to annul that, just has to bring the fruits from another state. Peros chenveni zelai, or I am not going to eat from the fruits of Ralph's, but Vaughn's and the pavilions are wide open. So Eina Yachal Hafer. That's why it's such a neder the husband can't be mefer, because she can get it somewhere else. Now, v'im lo ha'isa parnasaso al mimenu, if the grocery and this chenveni only got his business from this husband, so then say hareze yofer di Rav Yossi. Then you'd have the right to be mefer. And the Gemara deduces, nidre inu nefesh u'de mefer. She'ein ben inu nefer enu mefer. You're telling me that if a husband hears his wife make a neder that does not involve inu nefesh, he cannot be mefer? Vatanya. It says, ben ish lishto ben avlavito. Melamed shabal mefer nedarim sheben olebena. Anything that affects the relationship between either the husband and wife or the father and the daughter, it's not just inu nefesh. he has the right to be made for those Nadorim as well. Amri, Halein Valein made for. You're right. He can be made for both classes. Miyu, except Inu Nefesh made for La'olam. A neder of Inu Nefesh, he can annul, and the annulment is forever. Aval Ein Behem Inu Nefesh. If the neder doesn't have Inu Nefesh, so and it affects their relationship. So when he annuls it, while they're living together, the neder goes away. But if he all of a sudden divorces her or dies, right? The neder would have a chalois. Now, but dvarm shebeino lebeino she'ein ben inu nefesh. That's referring to Nedarim between the husband and wife that do not cause affliction. Then there would be no chalos of the neder. Period. So you're going to tell me that things that do not involve inu nefesh, and we say if it affects the relationship while they're married, the neder will go away. But we said that if he divorces her, would we have a chalos? More wants to know, is that true? That none. Rav Yochanan ben Nuri Omer, Yofer, Shema Yigarshena Utei Asurlo. This is a case where the woman, through a neder, assured her earnings to be taken by the husband. So Rav Yochanan said, the husband can annul such a neder because he might divorce her, and the husband who divorces a wife can always take her back. But if she made a neder, the neder sticks, it would be asur law. He would not be able to take her back. Alma kimagarish law umefer lo meikara havi afara. So if he divorced her, and when they lived together, he was made for it, it is a good hafara. We don't say that even though it's not be'inu nefesh, it'll have a chalois after the gerushin. So Amri halein valein avi hafara. You're right. In both cases, it's annulment. Ella depends. Nidre inu nefesh made for bein latzma bein lacheri. A net of inu nefesh, he annuls it completely, whether he's married to her or whether she's going to marry somebody else. That's for Nedarim of inu nefesh. If it's ein be'em inu nefesh, la'atzma made for lachem ein moifer. He only has the power to be made for the Nedarim while she's living with him. Things that are not going to affect him after he divorces her, he doesn't have the right to be made for those. V'achik tanu. And this I have to understand the Baraisa. Ela Nedarim, shehu made for bein latzma bein lacherim. The following Nedarim he can annul both for himself and for other people. Nedarim sheish ben inu nefesh. So we asked the question. Rabbi Yossi said that these are not Nedarim of inu nefesh. So the Gemara wants to know hechi kama. What neder was made? If I take a shower, I have a neder that I'm never going to eat the fruits of the world. So why do you need hafara? Lama lo hafara, lo tirchas, lo litzrin peres oilam. Let her not shower, and then she won't have a prohibition to eat the fruits. So what are we talking about? That he has to be made for it. And why would Rabbi Yossi consider such a neder not in a nefesh? We have to be concerned that she will take a shower, and therefore she will not be able to eat peiros. In Nevada, it would be an inu nefesh. Or how can Rabbi Yossi conclude that these are nedarim that are not inu nefesh. So the Gemara has to take a different tack and give a different case. And we'll learn that tomorrow. Okay, so we caught up between Friday and Shabbos and Sunday. We're back on track.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think we're still behind. I think they're on 82.
Little.
They're on where?
82.
Today?
I think so.
I thought they were on 81.
Let me check.
Oh, it doesn't make a difference. We're on.
Nedarim pay base.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe we'll also
82.
we'll do double next couple. Whenever opportune time comes.
They're short. They're short.
Yeah. They're short dafim.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Shkoyach.
Have
Okay,
a good
sure.
See you
have a
tomorrow
good
night.
good week, everybody.